the moment my daughter was born, people would tell me how she views God is going to be largely affected by how she views you as her father,
Yeah.
and that idea of the father figure, and how my calling before God is to lead my family.
Yeah.
And I have to lead them closer to the Lord, into his presence. I need to know how to have, my 7 kids and now grandkids, and sit them down as that patriarch and go, look,
Yeah.
here's what God's been to me. And honestly, there were years when I was leading a giant church and I didn't know how to do that. And I didn't know how to lead my own family well. It's not
Okay.
something.
Tell me about this. How did you shift? What began to change? Because it's funny.
Yeah.
I just had this conversation with Alex. So as
Yeah.
chaos is going, like Alex grabbed me and she's like, hey, you're pastoring so well. You're pastoring the transition of this church so well, but our family needs you to pastor it right now.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I like, okay, yeah, shifted. But what did you learn? Like, tell me that story.
Here's the thing is I always knew it. You can't read the scriptures and feel peace about not leading your home. But when there's other things, here's the thing. When there is a Sunday school teacher who's awesome, when there is a youth group leader that I know is nailing it, and trust them, it's like, well, they're teaching my kids. And some people, I remember this, okay, it was at like this Desiring God pastors conference, and they were going down the line, where I'm on stage with these other people, and they're going, okay, how do you do your family devotions at home? And there's like 7 guys on stage, and boom, boom, well, we do this, we do this, we do this. And I'm like the last guy before Piper. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to lie. Otherwise, I'm really stupid. And they're like, okay, Francis, how do you, it's like, I don't do devotions with my family, I feel this weird, awkward. I don't know why I can do it with everyone else except my own wife. Like there's some weird block based upon, maybe it's my upbringing, maybe it's my baggage, but there's no excuses. I don't have a regular prayer time. And, and I remember right afterward, Piper goes, I'm so glad you said that, or something like that. He goes,
you're the only honest one.
It's this weird, and it's, the guys weren't on. It's like, for some of us, there's this weird in leadership. Like I could get into the presence of God with you, but sometimes when it's family, it's weird. And I don't know why, you get so close and then you can't share this thing you have with the Lord. And it's almost like I was okay with my kids, but not great with my wife. And it almost took a stripping away of, well, they'll know my heart when they hear me preach this Sunday.
Wow.
So I'm saying, even as a pastor, you just think it's normal. It's normal for him. No, it's this muscle that even if you're ripped, suddenly you try to surf and, you can have the biggest bodybuilder and they're like, different. You're not used to doing, you're not forced to doing it, and you have these ripped guys that can't swim across the pool because it's a different muscle. And I almost feel like that was developed in, with the family, to where now it's like, gosh, we have these times where it was awkward at times, but now it's the most natural thing to call my family together and look them in the eyes and go, you guys, okay, it's way more natural for me to do that now with my own family members than it is with you. So it did this, but it came from practice. It came from, suddenly we went to these house gatherings and they're not going to hear me preach. They're just going to hear Dad talk like a human being to his human friends. And we're all going to talk and discuss about God. And it's not this speech that he crafted. And it's so much better. I can't even explain. So I would just say, work at it. You just do it. You just
set up time, get the family together, worship, talk about scripture, talk about what it means.
I would not even set up. Maybe not even set up time. It's just go do it right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, spontaneously, like, hey, this is a good moment. We do that
Because we're so used to everything being programmed.
at 9
You know?
o'clock in the morning on Saturday. No cartoons. We're going to worship.
Yeah, like something happened this morning to me, and I thought, okay, I got to get my family together and talk to them about it. It's a teaching moment.
Yeah.
And it's not. I don't know. We don't have schedules anymore, so
But you know, I think this is what the world is experiencing. Like they don't have schedules anymore.
Yeah.
They're homeschooling. They're with their family. Like, but I find it interesting that we rely on these mechanisms where we can like, hey, I'm going to show up on Sunday and preach, and we're going to do this gathering. I'm going to be the speaker, and we're going to have worship. And by stripping all of that away, right now, what I see happening is the church has to emerge as disciples and disciple makers. And now it's not like, great, I'm going to go to this class. It's like, what you're saying is it actually matters in the home. Like we got to lead our homes. You know, people are building these big churches, and they're leveraging their platform and their speaking ability. And there's nothing wrong with that. But right now, like everyone's flattened. Like you could have a better camera and maybe like even a lot better worship musicians, but like all of a sudden it's like everyone's flattened. Like you can't woo the massive crowd or get that energy from a crowd right now because you can't have a crowd. And so even leaders, like they're being forced to lead from a different place of authority, a different place of like, this has to come through my life. This can't be like, this can't just be a gimmick anymore. Like, and I think it's a really good thing. Anyways, all that to say, you obviously been leading the way. And so if families are wanting to now create worship experiences and lead their, not just pastors, but like lead their families, like just start, right? So start anywhere, worship, read scripture, talk about it, and just keep having it, normalizing it. And like you're saying, it might feel awkward or even be really hard because you haven't built the muscles. Over time, it will become natural.
Yeah. And I would say this too, because I'm sure some people are listening right now and you still feel like, I just don't even know where to start. I would just remind you that you were made for this. Like,
come on,
this is literally in your DNA. Man, you were made to lead your family. So it's in you. Don't, I don't know if I can do this. No, you were made for this. And all of us were made to be disciple makers. That's why Paul was like baffled by the Corinthians going like, hey, you guys should have been teachers by now, but you're still eating like milk. And it's an eye opener because it's you've got the Spirit of God in you. And I know it's awkward. I know it's difficult. I know it may seem overwhelming. I'm just trying to remind you, this is what you were made for. So don't back off on that and have some confidence in that, knowing, he actually knew before I was even created that this day was going to come, and I was for this moment. And so man up, you know, and you just do what you do.